Hello everyone and welcome back to another discussion on generative design. But we're not just going to talk about it because I've actually designed and fabricated a lightweight, high-strength chassis to replace the original chassis for this extremely fast RC car here, just to see if I can squeeze out a little bit more performance. Now we'll briefly cover the Fusion 360 software I'm using for this generative design. But I also want to go over the manufacturing process to show that this software gives us parts we can make on common equipment. And of course we're going to put the full build together, because this video would probably be a little boring if we didn't do lots of testing. Testing at high speeds, testing during crashes, and general bashing around. So now let's look at the generative design process. So you start out by defining preservation regions, which are shown here in green, that either have parts mounted to the areas that I'm keeping, or they have loads applied wherever you see these blue arrows. And then you define obstacle geometry. Now it's really hard to tell what's going on because I have a lot of obstacles here. So we're going to go into the edit model and the colors will change, but it'll give you a better sense of what's happening. You can see the parts that I had defined as preserves, but there's also these obstacles. So let me go ahead and hide the preserve region, and this is only the obstacle geometry here. Now this section right here, this is the battery, and then this right here is the radio equipment. So that's always going to be there, and I don't want it to design anything in that region. So the software is only going to take into account all this open space here to design the chassis for me. I like to define my load cases after this. I'm going to hide the obstacle geometry again so you can see what's going on. Now my first load case is drop shock here, which is really just the car coming off a jump or being dropped from like 5 or 6 feet high, and the shock that occurs based on some accelerometer measurements that I've encountered, and it's all an inertial response. Next up are design objectives, and I'm only going for minimizing mass and a 1.5 safety factor because I'm not designing for unintentional load cases like maybe some gnarly crashes or anything like that. I just want this to be as fast and light as possible. Next up is the manufacturing constraints section, which I think is Fusion 360's strongest point because it allows me to do things like 3-axis milling and 2.5-axis milling and define tool directions, which when you have a simple hobby grade CNC machine like me, or even care about manufacturability, it's a huge deal because before all we could get is the 3D printable shapes from most of these studies. And the last thing we're going to do here is define study materials. Now you can select like 10 of these to let the thing do its magic in the background, but I've gone with HDPE, acetyl, and nylon because I have those laying around the shop in huge thick stock quantities. Now, once you hit the go button and the software does its magic, you get all these results here that you can basically pick through like you're shopping for a cool new design or something at the grocery store. And what I've done is basically filtered down to the lower mass ones, so like 1/3 of a pound, and I don't want unrestricted, and I'm going to go ahead and say let's just do HDPE because it's the lowest cost. And that gives me these two right here. Now the lightest weight one is the 3-axis CNC part, so I'm going to go ahead and open this one. And you can see I've actually already exported it because I actually made this part. And when I say export, I mean clicking this button up here so that it gives you a file that you can actually edit and manipulate to use for your final design. Now I promise we'll get back to some more cool RC car testing and crashes, but let's talk about the build real quick. Now this part was hogged out of a huge chunk of HDPE, and like I said before, the software was smart enough to give me a design that I could actually produce on a 3-axis CNC machine. You can see a tremendous amount of material here was cut away, so much so in fact that I was able to weasel a please subscribe sign in the middle of this video. Now this is the final part, and if it looks like there's 3D printed layer lines here, that's actually because I ran a pretty high step over on my finish pass here, and I tried to knock down some tooling marks with sandpaper, but if you've ever sanded HDPE, it's like sanding grease, it just doesn't work very well. And I also want to point out that this chassis actually did come in almost 20% lighter, even with minor modifications to the file. Then it was time to throw the old parts in with the new part, mix it all together, and hopefully end up with something that works. Now here's the finished product, and unfortunately that body hides our beautiful generative designed chassis, so no one's ever really gonna know unless if we're riding a wheelie the entire time we come at them. Now finally we get to test this thing to see, can this generative design chassis actually survive the design loads, or was it all just some weird shapes that were randomly generated? And we're going to start out with speed runs, maybe some wheelies, and some general maneuvers. I don't want to get too carried away too early. because I want to make sure that everything holds together. I'm really looking at chassis moments here, some maybe slight slams from when the wheels come down, and some hard braking. And then the excitement really started to come in when I got brave enough and started crashing. And the chassis itself never saw any damage whatsoever, even though my GoPro mount failed eventually. And finally, I knew y'all were going to call me out on the drop shock load case, but that's a really boring test, so I set up this sweet jump over this raging fire, and everything survived just fine. So that's it for today's video, and I know I went really quickly through the generative design process, but I will come up with a tutorial later on that has all the details you could ever want, and if you have any more questions, please feel free to reach out.